Jim Leyritz with Armen and Levack, Easter Red Wing Shoes in Clifton Park. Two-time World Series champion Jim Leyritz knows what he's talking about, including, Jim, I know you were at the game today, which we will get to in 1 second. CC Sabathia says that he is willing to fill any role. Should he? Do the Yankees, should they allow or should they have, do they need CC Sabathia still on this roster, Jim?
Well, to be honest with you, if he's not 100%, and doesn't sound like he's going to be, because they did mention that surgery is necessary and that, he's going to put it off, to the season. So I would say if he's going to be injured, no, I would not want an 80% or 70% CC Sabathia. That's what we've had so far this year, and it hasn't looked too good.
Armen and Levack, 104.5, the team are live from Crossgates Mall. Sorry, Jim, go ahead. We have a little delay because we're live on broadcast. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, so, again, I would think that, if he does come back, it would be more of a probably in the bullpen, and he might be able to help him out of that. But, again, if he's injured, I think that it's better off shutting him down and making sure he comes back healthy next year.
Jim, Tom Kozlowski filling in for Jeff Levack here. What's the biggest problem with the Yankees right now?
Well, inconsistent pitching and no hitting. The bottom line is these guys, you look at the last time we talked last Wednesday. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at, the scores of the game, 4-3, 3-2, 6-1. They actually won a game 6-1. But everything is via the home run. And so today I'm sitting there watching Houston this whole weekend. And today, again, Houston showed why they're in first place. First inning, they're laying down a sacrifice or a suicide squeeze to push a run across the plate. The Yankees are not doing any of that. And I am really surprised at this point in the season, as good as this team has played to this point, that they wouldn't start playing some small ball, start, trying to bunt the ball a little bit, hit the ball into that shift, where to use it to their advantage, but they're just not doing that, and they're continuing to rely on the home run, and it's, right now these guys are all slumping, and the worst thing is, Teixeira's out of the lineup, Ellsbury's out of the lineup, people are talking about A-Rod slumping. Well, there's no one in that lineup to protect him anymore, and I think that's what we're seeing too. Just 2 weeks ago we were talking about the Yankees scoring 90 runs in 10 games, and all of a sudden now I think the biggest thing we're seeing is, yes, I read a quote by Cashman that said, the old Mark Teixeira is back. Well, be careful, because the old Mark Teixeira that we were used to seeing is the one that's hurt all the time, and once again, he's hurt again.
Wow. Armen and Levack, 104.5 the team. Your home for New York sports. Jim Leyritz, former Yankee, joins us every Wednesday thanks to Red Wing Shoes in Clifton Park. Jim, last night we saw two unwritten rules in relation to our New York teams. Robles, the reliever for the Mets, did a quick pitch against the Phillies. They did not like it whatsoever. Then you have the Yankees, who has Carlos Gomez. He was animated on a pop out, and that led to an altercation, and the benches cleared. Which of those unwritten rules is the more offensive one to you?
Well, I think the quick pitch is more unprofessional. At the same time, again, this is the difference between the teams that I played on and the teams now. There is no way we would have probably hit Gomez last night, but when you don't hit him last night and then he takes you deep and he parades around the bases again, the fact that they didn't drill him the first time up today, it befuddles me. It's just I don't understand where that etiquette of baseball has disappeared to, that this guy didn't wear one the first time up today. And, it would have been perfect, too, because Gaddis had just hit a home run. Okay, drill the guy. Let's make the point right now. And they could have fired this team up. We could have got these guys going. And I think something should have been done. And as, I don't know if you watched the game today, but the last time he strikes out, he takes a swing coming out of his shoes and almost falls into their dugout. I mean, it's ridiculous that they did not establish something with this guy, at least throw up and in and knock him off his feet a little bit.
Well, Jim, let's go back to your career. Do you remember a player that used to get under one of your teammates' skin, and you remember a situation like that where your team went after a guy early in a game?
Well, I can tell, many times. I mean, fortunately for us, we had guys like Jeff Nelson. We had some guys, veteran pitchers like David Cohn, guys that, they knew how the game was played. And if somebody was was doing what they did. I mean, Gomez again stole second base in the 6th inning with a 5-0 lead. He basically was taunting them to do something, and they did nothing. That didn't happen back then. If we had a guy that even just pimped it a little bit on a home run or took a huge swing, you didn't necessarily hit the guy, but you know what? The next pitch you threw up and in, you kind of gave him a warning, like, okay, you know what? It's time to settle down a little bit. And again, I just watched him play for 3 games this whole weekend, and not once did he get moved off the plate. Not once did he get his feet, something thrown up and in, at least to knock him off the plate, or much less after last night, at least hitting him first pitch and saying, okay, don't get too comfortable in that box.
Wow, Jim Leyritz, former Yankee with Armen and Levack. This is great stuff, brought to you by Red Wing Shoes in Clifton Park. What is the dumbest written rule in baseball, Leyritz? What's the dumbest one of them all?
Oh God, that's a good question, man. The dumbest unwritten rule. Ah, man, you got me. You tell me what one you think. I don't know of any unwritten rule that really isn't. That is good. I mean,
well, Jim, can you explain this?
I think the hard slide into second base is the unwritten rule that is gone. And then all of a sudden today, again, if you slide it hard into second base and you take somebody out, it's almost like they want to fight right there because you're not supposed to injure anybody. You're not supposed to hurt anybody. To me, that was the thing. If one of our guys got thrown at or one of their guys showed us up, we were going to either hit the guy or if he was a middle infielder, the next time we went into second base, we went in a little bit harder. And I just don't see that anymore.
Wow, Jim Leyritz, thanks to Red Wing Shoes. Jim, I thought it was, you asked me what dumb unwritten rule. I think it's dumb for the Yankees to get upset that Carlos Gomez is getting emotional over a pop fly. Like, you can still have emotions. Baseball is so unwritten rule-ish. They take the emotions out of it, but it's an emotional sport still, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's certain things that a player does. And, again, a guy pops up and he throws his bat down and he screams and he yells something. That's pretty normal. I don't think that I didn't really see where he came out of the box or what he did. I kind of saw after he was yelled at when he turned his head and looked into the dugout. I didn't see what happened before then. But at the same time, that's just it. That instance happens. The next time, he slid it really hard into second base twice to a point where it was like obvious he was trying to taunt them, and they did nothing in return to like I said, to just, hey, this is our house. You're
right.
Playing in our house, and we're not going to let you act that way here in Yankee Stadium. I just didn't see that today.
Former Yankee Jim Leyritz joins us every Wednesday thanks to Red Wing Shoes in Clifton Park. Jim, you were at the game today, man. Any takeaways from the game? How's live going? How's everything, baby?
Well, yeah, I was excited today because I thought we'd see a little bit of fireworks. And then I turn around and I watch, like I just mentioned before, the reason the Houston Astros are playing well and playing in their first base, and something the Yankees could take away from this series is, these guys are suicide squeeze in the first inning. They're pushing runners across. They're laying down bunts. They're doing hit and runs. They're manufacturing runs, and that's why these guys are in first place. I think hopefully the Yankees watched it this weekend and said, you know what, we can win games hitting home runs, but we need to win some other games when our pitchers are pitching well by manufacturing some runs. And I just, I'm hoping when the Yankees were going well just 2 weeks ago, how quickly it's changed. And a lot of it has to do, besides just the hitters going into a little bit of a slump, is the injuries of Ellsbury and Teixeira not being in that lineup anymore.
Jim Leyritz, thanks to Red Wing Shoes. Go to jimleyritz.com, thegreatestsave.org for his initiative that he believes in as well. Jim, good stuff, man. We'll talk to you again next Wednesday, baby.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, boys, listen, don't lose hope. You know what? We said we were surprised that they're in first place at this late in the game. Now they're 1.5 behind. They still got the wild card. I still think they got a good chance of winning this thing, so let's keep hoping.
Hey, listen, you might need to text Levack. It's his birthday, but, he's the one that gets a little emotional. So, hey, happy birthday, and don't freak out, Levack. That might be the message you need to text him, Leyritz.
Exactly. Happy birthday, man.
Jimmy, love you, baby.
I'll
Thanks,
talk
man.
to you guys next week.